I'll try and be as nice as possible as I can.
Okay.
I asked Kieran loads of questions before.
Did you?
And he said, just ask him, just rank us on a scale of, Henri versus Kieran. And I said, I don't know, mate. I said, I don't know how it's going to look for you.
Kieran, but honestly, he might be ahead of him in terms of just coaching aspect of it.
I'm going to have to leave that bit in now, aren't I?
Yeah.
For fuck's sake, he's never going to hear the end of it. Welcome to the Crossing the Pond podcast, hosted by me, Gary Adair, where we talk to people from all walks of life, artists, educators, entrepreneurs and adventurers, to explore the stories and lessons that can help you understand yourself, others, and create meaningful change in your own life. Today's guest is someone whose journey has taken him from youth soccer to college soccer at Indiana to being drafted into the MLS with Minnesota United. Mason Toye has spent the last decade navigating the reality of professional football, the goals, the setbacks, the injuries, and the growth that comes with all of it. In this episode, Mason opens up about how his mindset has evolved through the toughest moments of his career, what nearly 10 years in MLS has taught him about life and resilience, and the excitement of stepping into a brand new chapter with FC Ingolstadt in Germany. We also talk about the bigger picture, identity, perspective, and how he's beginning to think about life after football. People might know this who know you.
Yeah.
But isn't it true that it was a choice at one point because you were pretty decent at basketball as well?
Yeah, it was. It was a choice. But again, I don't even know if I've told people. I feel like because again, I've gotten this question so much, but it was actually in Qdoba in East Hanover, because I was at Morristown Baird at the time.
Yeah.
With my mom, and I was deathly afraid to tell my dad that I kind of wanted to go back and play soccer, because at that point we're getting up at 4:30 to go get shots up before school at 5. He's driving me to the gym, so I'm he's done all this sacrifice. So we're in there, and I flipped a coin for it. That's how I chose.
See?
In my heart, in my soul, I probably would have went back anyway, but that's how it happened. I flipped the coin and I was like, all right, Mom, you saw it. And then I told my dad, and then I, got onto the Morristown Baird High School soccer team. And yeah, that's kind of how.
That's ridiculous. Do you ever think about what if? You got a pretty good grasp of levels. Yeah. Were you decent there?
So I was playing on the best possible team. It's not like I wasn't playing on I was playing on an okay team. I was playing on the best team I could play on in the state, and ranked and everything and doing well. But I think you never know. But in my heart, I know that it probably would have stopped at maybe a mid-major, low-major college team. Maybe I could get a couple years in Europe, but it wasn't I was going to get to the NBA. I don't think.
So it was probably a double-headed coin then.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. It's probably both heads.
That's funny. The thing is as well, right? And the thing that I always get to is, and you made the point there about it with Mo Beard, you played high school.
Yeah.
You played high school soccer. What is important to you? Was it just because that's what it was? Was it just listen, high school soccer is a part of everything? Because soccer looked a lot different 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Was it always to play soccer as well? Because even though other lads around you may have played just exclusively soccer for a club and not high school, did you see a positive of playing high school?
There was so much. And again, that's the big part of high school, I think, is camaraderie, understanding how to be in a team, understanding how to be the best player in the team, but also having just community. And I think that academy, it was different because everybody is just, all they're thinking about is we're trying to be pros. And again, out of the academies, we know maybe one or two actually make it, and you don't really get much out of it. You don't have fans there. You don't have, your friends at school watching you. You don't have people from other schools watching you. In academy games, there's just the parents. Very quiet. There's no atmosphere. And just being able to be something it's bigger than you. Because when you're in the academy, again, you're not really trying to you're not representing your club. You're not thinking about it that deeply. Majority of the time, you're just thinking, okay, I have to do this. I have to
a pathway. This is the reason why I'm doing it.
But when you're playing high school, you're representing the school and your community around you and your classmates and everything like that. And the majority of your teammates, they're just doing it because they want to have fun with it. And that fun aspect, I think, helped me when I was going back and playing club. After Mo Beard, I think I just had the love and the fun for the game, and I wasn't getting burnt out by the game anymore. To where, again, when I quit soccer to go play basketball, I was playing for Red Bull at the time, doing pre-academy, and it's like, it felt more like work than like actually enjoying the game, you know? So there's so many different aspects of it. Again, Seton Hall Prep, again, it was the same thing. I was playing for academy again, and I was just like, I want to be a part of something bigger. And I went and I saw, there was a match against, like, I think it was at Del Barton.
Right.
But they weren't playing Del Barton. It was just like a whole bunch of other teams. And I was just like, all of the fans, there was like 200, 300 kids. And I was like, oh, I want to be a part of this.
Yeah.
This is amazing. You can never get this anywhere else. And I never ever will regret playing high school soccer.
Yeah, I feel like it gets lost in the mix, that as well, doesn't it? We've always kept in touch, but I'm not the only English or overseas coach you've ever had. And I was a lot later. I mean, I would argue I have zero to do with your development, but can you remember the first time you experienced a coach from overseas?
So it was like when I was maybe 5 or 6. And this is like the earliest, and I'll give you the one that actually like means the most, I guess. But the earliest we were like, it's a 5 or 6. And I don't know if you heard of like this program for coaches called UK Elite. I don't know if you heard about it.
I came over with them.
Okay. So there you go. It was UK Elite, and we actually like help house one of the coaches that were coming over.
Please tell me the name.
I can't remember. My God. For the life of me, I can't remember, because I told my mom and she was like, I can't remember his name, but she forgot about it, because again, this was maybe like 2004 or 5.
Yeah,
this is early days. So probably again around the time you came.
It would have been, because I'd have definitely known who that was. That's hilarious. I gotta find out now.
Yeah, blonde lad. But I was living in Pennsylvania at the time, so maybe that'll narrow it down if I tell you.
Okay, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Cool.
But that was that, and then. But honestly, like, again, you coach with Kieran, and I'd say Paul Nash and Kieran are probably the two that like stick out to me in terms of like early days. Like, Paul was beginning summer stuff, and then Kieran, like, that's like somebody who like I've known for he's known me for a long time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So those two are probably the most impactful English coaches.
That's fair. I mean, I know you've had a lot of others over the form of your career, or the period of your career, but yeah. Is there any phrase, or is there anything you can still hear in your head from any of these lads? Like a Nashi or a Kieran, or even myself? I'll throw myself in there as well, like, but it might not be me, but like.
Yeah, I've had to think about it, honestly. There's like, it's less about the phrases necessarily, because there was a ton of them, just in terms of me being like an idiot sometimes,
right,
with Kieran and with you. But it was more so, what sticks out to me was like the stuff off the field, because I think that like you guys were massive, obviously, with my development in terms of like nurturing me. Like, Kieran, the reason why I had good feet and was able to be creative and all that type of stuff, even like taking corner kicks, Kieran like allowed me to be like a creative playmaking player, and I didn't get like stuck into the box of like, you're a number 9, like you have to head the ball and be big, and like I could float around, and I had that like freedom. But it was like more so like off the field, like the conversations that we had, if you were like giving me a ride to a game or something like that, or on the side at, in between games, it was like the ability to like, even though I was younger, having conversations like as human beings. And it just made me realize that, again, like my play and everything like that is great, but like me being like a good person and like doing the right things and like being a good teammate, and again, not being an idiot, like that's going to pay off a lot more than just like being able to put the ball in the net.
Yeah.
Like, that's what stuck out to me. And again, like, I'm forever grateful for you guys, because again, you guys just allowed me to develop in the right way. And it wasn't all about football. It was more about the enjoyment of it and playing the right way.
That's cool. What about trips or games or players that you played with in your youth soccer days that really stand out for you? Like, you've just been talking, we've just been talking then with your dad about playing at Tucker and scoring hat-tricks. Like, was there moments like that, or is the players that you can remember funny, whoever you played with along the way?
There's a ton. I mean, I remember again, just trips, like if you're in a hotel room and we're all in the same room together and just joking around, again, just being like young, 14, 15-year-olds or whatever. But the names that come to mind, Sam Gibbons was hilarious.
Yeah. Big Ginge.
Yeah. Howlett, again, like, we met Howlett, we were super close. And we played together for like a long time. Poncho, for whatever reason, his name is coming in there.
He's a copper now, you know. He's a policeman now.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my days. See, again, like that's the thing, like time flies because it doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but you know, everybody's lives have taken different turns. But yeah, I mean, National League in Florida, getting that done and making a run. That was, again, North Carolina and Florida, those two.
Yeah, that season, right?
Yeah, that season was like a super special one, and I was able to do some special things. But again, just like being in the hotel room with the guys and cracking jokes and different things like that. And
I can remember that.
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't bring up the bowling experience in there.
Now that you say it, you had some trouble hitting pins. That's all.
Mate, listen, I've still got that video on my phone. I might have to post it along with this thing.
I think you should.
Went straight in the gutter. Terrible. The only person who needs bumpers on the side, mate. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I'm just happy you didn't like crash out or anything. You just were just.
Well, no. If you listen to the video, you gave me enough shit. I nearly. yeah, exactly. Are you mad?
That's fair. Yeah.
All right. So you did well. And we'll talk about that tournament as well, because that was a tournament when you really started to get noticed, right, by some high-profile coaches, staff, a lot of big programs across the country. And again, it was club soccer as well, so it was USYS, and it was a big deal. But how big was that jump from youth soccer to college? Because you were very, very dominant in games at youth soccer. Like, did you feel the difference when you went into college? Because you went to Indiana, massive time program, great pedigree of producing top players.
Yeah.
Did you feel it?
Yes and no. I think I had like, I don't know. I was a bit naive just in terms of like the difference, because I committed fairly early. Like I committed like going into my junior year of high school. So like it was pretty early days when I committed. And from the start, I had this feeling, and from conversations that I had with the coaching staff, I felt like I was going to play like right away. But yeah, beginning of preseason, like the pace and the strength of the players, like off rip, I just knew there was a lot of things that I needed to develop. And it was going to take time. So like off rip, I wasn't playing right away. So I had one of my classmates who was also a freshman. He was starting in the beginning,
right,
because he was a bit more developed with holding the ball up and understanding how to use his body. So there was a learning curve. Like the first, I would say, even though I scored in the first game, I think I assisted the next game, and then our first home opener, like I got a start and I scored. It wasn't like I was like the guy, or you know, everybody was like, oh, this is obvious, like he's gonna play right away, because I wasn't like the highest ranked player. Griffin Dorsey, we're still close.
Yeah, remember that kid?
He was the one. Him and Justin Renix, who ended up getting hurt, and he plays in New Mexico now. But those two were like the highly touted freshmen that everybody thought were gonna take off and be the freshman of the year and score a whole bunch of goals. So I didn't really have too much pressure on myself or by the staff. So I was able to kind of like learn as I went. And as the season progressed, I started getting more and more comfortable, building my confidence. But yeah, it was definitely a big difference between youth and college for sure. But you know, I was able to adapt fairly quickly.
And that season was like we talked the other day, didn't we? It was almost the perfect season, wasn't it? The season.
This is the craziest thing about it, and like this is the reason why, again, if NIL was around and things of that nature, and I probably would have came back, because we technically were undefeated the entire season, but we didn't win any championships. So we lost on the final day. We tied Michigan State away at Michigan State. I think
it was a horrible game.
Yeah.
I watched that one.
Terrible one. So we tied, and we just needed Maryland to either beat or tie Michigan, and Michigan beat Maryland at Maryland, and Michigan ended up winning it on the last day. So we didn't win the regular season. Conference tournament, we lost in penalties. So we never really lost in regular time. So you don't count it as that. So we went to the final, lost in penalties. And then national championship, obviously we lost in overtime.
Last minute. Last kick of the game, basically.
Pretty much. Yeah. Before
Stanford.
We went to penalties. So
horrible.
We went undefeated until the last game of the season, technically, but we didn't come out with any silverware.
When did the MLS draft thing become a possibility?
It wasn't until, I remember it was after that Michigan State game. Actually, I got back to campus, and at that point I'd already, won the Big Ten Freshman of the Year. I had like 9 goals in the season, and things were going really well. But I never like had any rumblings of possibly getting drafted or going to the draft. And yeah, I got a call I think from like Aleco or somebody. And then again, I had talked to some agents before. So those conversations started to happen, but it wasn't until after the Michigan State game. So that was like late November, I think, or something like that, or mid-November. I can't remember.
Especially when you figure the draft's in January.
Yeah.
January, right?
Yeah. So it was pretty late, I guess.
So with that, right, with the draft, do you think players are ever truly ready? I mean, this is this can be a theme through the whole recording.
Yeah.
But like, do you just learn on the fly as you go? Like, you get your foundation through whoever, coaching staff and this, that, and the other. But do you think you're just constantly just learning on the fly as you go?
It's a lot of that. I think you're never truly ready. I think some guys physically or mentally, emotionally might be more ready than others. But I think there's always going to be a time of adapting, because again, you're playing with grown men. It's a different game. There's more at stake.
Yeah.
Now you're getting paid for it. I guess NIL is a little bit different because now you're already making money. But it's just, again, it's different because it's not as much of a super tight-knit team atmosphere. You got guys from all over the world that are in the MLS for different reasons. You got to deal with DPs that are getting paid millions. And if you're not like a Generation Adidas, when you're coming in, you're on like league minimum. So you're making X amount and they're making this amount, and they have a sense of like a certain aura about them that you have to kind of humble yourself, because usually if you're coming out of college, you were like the guy on your team, and now you're kind of at the bottom of the totem pole. So there's a lot of different things that you have to adapt to, but it's definitely like learning on the fly, being a sponge, soaking things up. But to say anybody's like really ready, you never really know until you get into it. And sometimes it's like the situation might be right or it's the wrong situation. There's so many different variables that play into like how guys' careers go early days or whatnot.
Yeah. So talk about draft day, right? Talk about being ready. You went number 7 in the first round.
Yeah.
Go to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Massive.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I was all over it. I told my dad, little known fact, but my dad's a massive Everton fan.
Oh, so Adrian,
so he was like, I was like, oh, this kid that played for us, he's got. I'm like, he's playing for Adrian Heath, and he goes, this is my dad. He's like, tell him to ask him. I'm like, no, I'm not doing it. We used to go to Burnley and watch him through a person who we knew who played. Yeah, but yeah, it was funny when you signed there. So
it's crazy.
Talk about that then, draft day. Like, what's emotions is standing out? Because your dad was there, your family's there, right?
My dad, mom, brother, everybody was there with the agents. Really didn't know where I was going to go. I knew, so Brad Friedel was my under 19 men's national team coach. So a few years before, so he gave me my first kind of youth national team experience. He was coaching at New England at the time, and he had a good relationship with my agents, and he liked me as a player a lot. So they had the 8th and 9th pick back to back. They ended up taking DeJuan Jones and Brandon Bott. DeJuan Jones, actually, he's had a great career. But so they were like, if you fall to us, we're taking you. So I knew that 8 and 9, if I hadn't gone yet, I was going to go there. And then my agents were like, maybe Orlando, and they were at 6. So, again, you're having these little kind of chit chats. And then Chris Mueller went at 6. And so then, I had no idea. I was like, I'm not going to Minnesota. So I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to New England. And then my agents, they're like, Minnesota's going to take you at 7. And I was like, okay.
Is it like, because the timing is this as well, because the NFL draft's on Thursday. Yeah. Is it like that? Like you're literally just sat in a room, hospitality or whatever, green room, or were you just there?
So the way it worked, it wasn't necessarily like, it's more like the NBA draft, so where like you can see the stage and everything, and then you kind of walk up. But yeah, so we had like, there was kind of rows, and you're with your family and your agents, and you really don't know, because again, in the leading up to the draft, there's a whole bunch of different writers saying, okay, we think that he's gonna go here, or whatever, the mock drafts. So it's anywhere from first pick, second pick, down to like, I was relatively in the top 10, so I didn't know. And you don't know off of the interviews either. Some of them.
And you've literally got your agents going like,
exactly. So yeah.
That's it. That can be intense, can't it?
Yeah.
So, all right. So Minnesota happens. Yeah. What's your first welcome to football moment as a professional?
Preseason for sure.
Yeah.
I think preseason for a lot of reasons. I think.
Was it the step again?
Yeah. I think it was just the physicality of it. Like really proper grown man strength. Again, I was not fully developed yet. I was 19. So like physically, I was not anywhere near being fully developed. Even mentally, just thinking the game, again, I was just thinking at a little bit of a slower pace. So coming in, off of the college season, riding a high. I think I'm going to be able to do kind of what I did in college, and it's going to work.
Yeah.
But again, right away, you lose a ball a couple of times, the confidence starts to go a little bit because you're like, ooh, like it's a little bit different, and you get pushed off the ball. And so it was a training session where I had to kind of hold off one of our center backs. His name is Brent Coleman. I don't know if he's still playing now, but big guy. He's regardless of how old you are, it's hard to kind of hold him off. And he just grabbed my arm, yanked it, and I just went flying this way. And I was like, yikes, like this is going to be pretty crazy. But yeah, that was probably, we were in Florida. That was probably my welcome to the profession.
Because my next question was going to be, what part of being a pro did no one prepare you for? For me, it was the one where you got sent off after about.
Oh, geez. So that one.
I just like, you know what? He's got done there by an old pro.
Again, that one was a big one, honestly, because it's my first start. So I'm riding high, but that's the big difference between college and playing professionally, because I'd done the same thing. I can remember very vividly, we were playing New Hampshire in the NCAA tournament, and me and the center back were going back and forth. He's stepping on my ankles, all the pushing, shoving. I had thrown an elbow before, and he just ate it. There's no VAR. It's away from the game. It's away from the play. So I'm throwing elbows or whatever, and we're just having a rough, like a tussle.
Yeah.
And then I'm playing against Kendall Watson, who's 6'5", massive guy, so much bigger than me. And he's just, every time the ball goes out wide, just grabs me. And I'm just like, all right, well, I'm going to throw an elbow, let him know I'm here. And immediately he just falls. And there's nothing that I could even do. I like, there's cameras everywhere, VAR.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that was a tough one. But again, you learn that there's repercussions for things that you do on that field. And I was supposed to start the next game because our striker was injured. So we're away to LAFC. It was their first year playing in that stadium, and I didn't get to play there because, I was suspended. So.
Yeah, it's lesson learned, and
Exactly.
Straight off the bat, as soon as it happened.
Yeah.
But was there any teammates early on who you spoke to, give you any stories or advice? Like maybe not in that instance, but like that just change your perspective on how you're going to act or how you're going to be on the field. Because don't take this the wrong way at all, but you were always very confident in your ability as a youth player.
Yeah.
And that kind of carried into college because you were successful again. But now all of a sudden you're in the pros, you get into a situation like that you've just been in, or you're getting scragged in training.
Yeah.
Like, was there a player that really took you to the side early on?
Ian Fuller was massive for me. He's head coach at Knoxville now, but as a coach, but I think the biggest thing, because again, after that year, my first year, I didn't score at all that first year. So just my confidence level of like, when am I going to score? And should I have stayed? Was I ready? I was on loan, so I only scored one goal when I went on loan. So there was a lot of question marks in my head, and I ended up staying in Minnesota. In the offseason, there was two guys that always stayed. Eric Miller, who plays for Portland right now, and Ethan Finley. I think he's maybe still in Austin if he's not, but he had a great career. But they were like known for being hardworking, no nonsense, bring your lunch pail type of guys. They were not like, fancy footwork, all that type of stuff. So they put that in me that every day I got to show up to improve, to get better, not just during the season, but in the off season, and get as fit as I can, all that type of stuff. So they were massive, because the next preseason I came back, I was winning all of the fitness tests and everything like that. And just coming in fit, fast, strong, and with a different mentality. And they were like massive. So like, that's not just for that 2019 year, but just for my career in general. Like, they kind of molded me into kind of the professional that I became.
Yeah. Because you went on a good run that second season, didn't you?
Yeah.
That was the one where you scored those two swingers in LA.
Exactly.
Left footers.
Those are the ones.
But that's the thing, though, isn't it? You've gone from that, and did you see that? Did you really visualize that correlation between the hard work and that blue collar attitude, or whatever it was, to the production on the field? Because you were flying, like.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've always been somebody who works on my game, like outside of the field at post training.
Yeah, true. Still a goal in the back.
Exactly. I'm still doing it now. But yeah, I did. But again, that year it didn't start off like that. Like, I was on loan playing USL League One, and having, on the drop of a dime, they'll call you at 3 p.m. like, hey, you got to drive to Madison, Wisconsin, 4-hour drive, and you got to train tomorrow, and you're going to be gone for 3 weeks, but we might call you back, next week. So that different type of stuff, like it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows the whole year, but I was just like so determined. And I was like, I put in all this work, like it's got to pay off. So I just kept at it. And when I got my opportunity to come back with the first team, I was going to show every day to myself that, hey, like, I'm not going to stop working hard. I know it's going to pay off at some point. And it did a lot for that year. It was a great year, but it would not have come without the work, because again, I was fit enough, I was strong enough. And if I didn't do the work on I wouldn't have got the rewards on the back end. So
yeah. And how easy is it to go on loan? Because you went to Forward Madison, right?
Yeah, I did.
How is that as a club?
It's honestly, it's a fun time. Yeah. It's a fun time. They do a good job of it. It was early days for them when I went there. So I'm sure that it's a bit different, a little bit more put together. But it was good. I mean, they do a great job with the fan base. Madison, Wisconsin is like a great place, a great sports town. Obviously, you got the Badgers with the school, but again, you got the Flamingos and everything like that, and they kind of lean into it. But it was a good sports town, a good experience. But
did you get to keep the kit?
I do. I have one up there.
You got to keep that, mate. You never get rid of that thing. That's excellent.
Yeah,
that's excellent. But on that though, like, how hard is it to move clubs and reestablish yourself in a new locker room?
It is different. Thankfully, I'm a bit outgoing, as you know. I can crack some jokes, so that helps a lot. But again, I've done it multiple times now in different situations. But it's difficult. Like, you got to find a new place to live. You got to think about, okay, I got to ship all my stuff to another place. I got to break my lease. How do I do that? I got to pay this. Okay, now I got relocation money. How do I? Because at the time there was two different ways to use it. And then again, you want to prove that this team, if they took a chance on you, that they made the right decision and what type of guy you are. So off rip, you're just trying to present your best self, obviously. But it can be difficult at times. But thankfully, I was traded to some great teams with some really great guys in the locker room that helped welcome me.
With that as well, like, what do you learn from these different people? Like, how different? We talked a little bit about this the other day, about how different everybody's journey in that locker room is. Like, when you look around, when do you start to realize that? Like, because you think you have a pathway, right? You play youth soccer, you go into college, you play 1 year, you get drafted. Not everyone's got that story, have they?
No, everyone's is different. Yeah, everyone's is different. You got guys that have been homegrowns, guys that played at big clubs in Europe and have boatloads of experience. Other ones that, again, I had one teammate that. Joel Waterman, he plays for the Canadian national team now. His path was completely different than most people's. He went to university in Canada, and then he played in the CPL, and like the CPL's grown a bit from when he was playing in there. So it was not sunshine and rainbows. Was able to get a contract with Montreal and fight his way into the team. And again, was not like highly touted at all. And he was older than I was. And again, just kept battling, and now again he's gotten his rewards. He's playing for the Canadian national team, but everyone's story is so different. And again, it's really nice for me as like a person, even after my career, because again, you're able to have a broader scope of all different types of people from all different walks of life. And it's eye-opening, and I'm really grateful that I've had so many different experiences in different locker rooms.
It just gives you more perspective, doesn't it? And you're almost empathetic towards a little bit more towards everybody else.
For sure.
All right, so let's get to the bit. I love this question. But okay, what was your reaction when you found out you've been traded to Montreal? And then we haven't even talked about this. I mean, we talked a little bit about Arsenal at the beginning. But this is. I think this is big time. You got signed by Thierry Henry when he was the manager. How does that go for you? Like, how do you? What's going through your head at that moment when you get that call?
So again, I didn't know. Like, at the time, knew I was going to get traded at some point. Thought it was going to be San Jose, and then I got the call from Adrian. He was like, "Look, we've traded you to." When I pick up the phone, my heart's racing because I'm like, it's Adrian. I know what this is. So I pick up the phone, I'm like, hi. And he's like, all right, we're going to get straight to it, Mace. Like, we've traded you to Montreal for X amount. And, again, thank you for everything. And he was like, yeah, like, I'm excited for you. You're going to be able to play for your idol. I know how much you love Thierry. And so at that point, I'm just like, this is crazy. Because again, the crazy thing about it is that 2 weeks prior, like, I changed when I was younger, I had different people as my background. So I had Thierry as my like wallpaper on my phone like a couple weeks before. So that evening, I was out at dinner and coming home, and I get a text and on WhatsApp, and it's like, "Hi, this is Thierry. Like, I'm gonna call you in a bit." And he sent me some clips, and then he called me and asked me if I watched the clips, and I was just like, "This is crazy!" Like, I have his number in my phone. Like, this is ridiculous because
you didn't go into Montreal with the phone with his face still on the phone.
No, I had to change it.
You got butchered for that.
But it was crazy. I mean, the amount of hours of YouTube videos that I had watched of him was countless. Yeah.
What was it like sitting in meetings? Like, you told me that story the other day, like, if you don't mind sharing it again, about watching clips in meetings and how that went down.
So it was like one of the first days that I was there. And we had conversations, and he knew that, I looked up to him, and he could tell that I tried to model my game off of his. But yeah, we went to the meeting room. It was me and our video guy, Max, and Thierry, and we just sat there in the meeting room, and we pretty much just watched his clips. So it was like he was on YouTube, like our guy Max, and just putting in different games, different things. Like when they played Real Madrid, he showed me how he held somebody off the flick up and the volley against Manchester United. So that was pretty surreal because I was like, in my head, I'm like, I've seen all of this. But for him to kind of break it down and explain it to me, and really just take the time to be there for my development, and pour into me. It was something that, again, I'll never forget, and I was so grateful to him.
Were you surprised that he knew so much about you coming in?
Yeah,
or did he?
Yeah, he had seen me from afar. Again, the 2019 year was a big one, and again, you kind of know about the younger players that are playing well. So that was the year before that he had traded for me, and knew I wasn't playing that much, but could see the potential. And again, just our physical profiles and the way I run, the way that I play, you could kind of see similarities, and he could see that as well in the conversations that we had. The first few days of me being there, that's what he told me. He was like, "Look, I see a lot of myself in you." And I think that's why he took a liking to me and tried to pour into me as much as he could. So yeah.
Oh, that's quality. What's the biggest lesson he taught you then about your position, that position?
I think it's just like relentlessness, which is, again, that was a big part of his game, but just being relentless, not like never stopping, never being satisfied. And again, it's something that's like hard to do in his way because some guys just are different,
It's Thierry Henry.
It's always, but I put him in the category of, you think of Michael Jordan and his mindset, that's Thierry in a nutshell. And again, you could make an argument he's like top 5 of all time. Like, and I don't think anybody would be arguing back with you. So yeah, I tried to incorporate as much as I could of his mentality into me, but definitely like relentlessness. That's something that stuck out to me for sure in the conversations that we had.
Like, what was one thing that surprised you about him as a coach?
I don't know. I think I knew a lot. I think he's a kid at heart. Like, he loves banter. I think I just didn't. And the thing about it is, I always preface this because I don't think it was his best, like, greatest experience as a coach. And it wasn't ours, like, being coached by him, because it was COVID. I think his daughter was sick at the time. There was a lot of different things going on in his life. So he wasn't being able to be really that mentally present with us all the time. But I know he did his best. And again, he tried his best to, tell us exactly like what we needed to do, and coach us the best way he could, and give us life lessons and football lessons.
Did he step into training ever?
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's the thing that was
like a joke. Was it an absolute joke?
Yeah, he didn't have the fitness still, but like if we're playing small sided, like a little 6v6.
How was your boy JJ against him?
No, nobody could handle this. That was the thing that surprised me the most. He was still strong as an ox, man. He's probably stronger than he was so strong, holding guys off and everything like that. Now there was like telling me, because I wasn't there for preseason, but he was having them do like 5-minute planks, and he's doing it with ease, and no one could do it. So yeah, he's a tank, man. He's a special.
So Henry moves on. Wilfred Nancy came in.
Yeah.
Who's been in the news quite a bit recently because he had a bit of a rough time at Celtic over the time. How do you talk about you moving locker rooms? What about when a new manager comes in or a new coach comes in?
Definitely different. Thankfully, it wasn't like a whole crazy change of staff. Like the physios were all still the same, and again, the coaching staff, aside from Thierry, it was pretty much the same, but just different philosophies. Wilfred was fantastic because it was a little bit more man management, like human management. He really likes to delve into the person that you are and the character of the person. And then again, he's definitely a football genius, I would call him, in terms of his style of play. And what he was able to do with us that first year. Really we had one DP, it was Victor Wanyama. I mean, it's a great player, but it's not like we had like out and out crazy.
Well, he was a 6, isn't he?
He's a number 6, exactly. But what he was able to do with a whole bunch of young guys, not really having any big names besides Victor, and we probably should have made the playoffs that year, was super special. And he was a massive reason why I was able to have the year that I had, a great year. Got injured in the middle of it, but again, just I felt very, very comfortable as a person with that. That is why I was able to kind of flourish on the field.
So it was not a surprise when he goes to Columbus and wins.
No,
in his first year.
No, because he once you have the trust from the players and the belief from the players, which he's able to get fairly easily. I know he's putting a ton of work, I know, within himself and a lot of thought into how he wants to coach, and he's able to get that trust. It's no surprise that he was able to go and do what he was able to do in Columbus, and not to mention the team was fantastic. So you put in with really good players that are willing to buy in, they're going to be successful.
You've had a rough run along the way with injuries, right? What's been the toughest injury or setback in your career so far?
Definitely the 2021 season. I was flying high, leading my team in goals, and just I felt like every game I stepped on the field like I was gonna score. I was one of the better players, if not the best player on the field. That's how I felt. So when you're a striker and you're in that headspace, in that mode, it's middle of the summer, you're flying, and I'm thinking, okay, the World Cup's coming up, like I got a shot. That's where my head was at. And then do my shoulder, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm out and I was pissed at the end of the game because I missed a pen, and we ended up winning the game, but I missed a pen and missed another chance. So I was like banging my head against the wall and thinking, okay, damn, like I'm going to be out. Like I'm in such a good run of form. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe max a month, I'll be back for the end of the season and I can get us to the playoffs. And then they're like, we get the results back from the MRIs and the x-rays, and they're like, yeah, you're out for the season. So gutted.
But I'm
like, okay, all right. Like, it's okay. Like, I'm going to be resilient, fight back. So I go through the 6-month rehab, and I'm back during preseason doing stuff. Stayed in Montreal pretty much the entire offseason doing rehab, come back, and it's the session before I get to go back to full team training. So I've made it all the way back from my rehab. I take one shot with my left foot, and it feels like I got stabbed in my groin. And I know but right away, and I still have the video for memories just to like kind of remember it, even though I want to put it on my head. But yeah, pulled up and knew it was bad, and we get the MRI and tore my adductor off the bone, out for another five months. So back-to-back injuries like that, it was like really, really difficult.
Yeah. And there's been so many momentum swings throughout your career. Like, what helped you get along the way?
Family was massive.
Right.
Family and friends. Again, like I say, I had, I was lucky enough to have great locker rooms that I've been in. And that one in particular was great as well. Some close friends to help me in that time when I was in Montreal. My parents came up and helped me with everything. But yeah, I mean, the physios as well. I had this physio, Alessandro, Ale, we called him, who was massive. But it's difficult. There's a lot of like lonely times, especially like in the early days of recovery where you're not with the team, you're separated, away trips, you have time. When you're living alone, you have time just to yourself to just think about like, I have so much more time to go, and like, will I come back the same? And that was a tough one because I was ready to go after the shoulder, and then when the adductor hit, that like I was gutted, so that was tough mentally. But
what sort of strategies do you have now? Do you like, because I this is crazy for me to say. You're 28 now.
Yeah, I'm turning 28 this year. Yeah, I'm turning 28.
Which is crazy for me to say that, right? But
yeah,
so you're still young, but you're relatively old. You've had a 9-10 year career in professional football.
Yeah,
but what personal strategies have you got now to sort of get you through?
Unfortunately, but fortunately, I have like gone through a ton of injuries, injured right now. So I've tried a lot of different things. I've talked to different people. It didn't really catch on for me. So it was a lot of reflection, but a lot of it is just kind of trying to separate myself from soccer at times and to try to focus on like bettering myself as a person and just doing a lot of personal development when it comes to that part of things. Because when you're separated from the game and like all you're thinking is like, this is who I am and it's been taken away and it's your whole identity, it can be really stressful because you just you feel helpless because when everything's going well and you're scoring goals, everybody's patting you on the back and they're like, you're so great and you're this soccer player, you're being the soccer player. But when you're injured, you're not able to do that. You go in and you're just doing, physical therapy, different things like that, a lot of time by yourself. So for me, it's been getting my thoughts down on paper and writing them down. At first, I thought it was like, again, something that I was above or that was like would never work, but that's something that's helped me a lot.
Does that come from anywhere, or is that just you? Like, listen, I've seen it somewhere, so I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I think, it was all of the different things. And again, I was going to get to like, meditation time, taking time for myself to just try to quiet my mind, find some peace in that. Like a lot of it is just, whether it's watching podcasts like this one, for example.
Good job. Well done.
I got you.
Well played.
Watching podcasts, reading books, but just trying to be curious in a ways to like, how can I make the most out of this time? Because and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm utilizing this time away from the game and not having to worry about the next training session or the next game, and taking the time to try to develop myself as a person, because this game isn't forever. And you get to realize that more and more when you're separated from it time and time again. And the more that you can develop the person and not just a soccer player, the better your life will be, because there's a long life after soccer.
Yeah. Do you think players, because you've come to that realization again, and again, it comes from good grounding and good people around you, and we talked before about the journeys of different people. Like some people might have just been everything football. Some people, like you guys in Minnesota, have had to work for that, like graft, and they come from families where it's blue collar. They've got to do it. Some people just need the money. Some people just need, but do you think footballers talk enough about the psychological side of getting injured or not being in the team or being away from the team? Do you think that's spoken about enough?
I think,
and if not, why?
I think that it's coming along a little bit. I always I have conversations with friends. I have a conversation with my girlfriend about this, and she's like, "Well, why don't you guys have like more vulnerable conversations?" Especially if I'm going through something. It's just difficult to have those conversations because it's a competitive environment and you never want to show any weakness or vulnerability, because you're thinking, okay, well, this guy might use it against me, or he might get more confidence because he feels like I'm weak in some way. You never want to think that way. So when you're going through different things, you just kind of try to muscle it up, because, everybody's gone through an injury. Everybody's had dips in form, but you also just don't want to show that like you're going through anything just for yourself. Cause like maybe you're like, if I accept it or something like that, if like I'm not having the best time, then it becomes real and that might affect my play. I think it's coming along a bit more now, but it's difficult to find people to trust in the professional game to have conversations with, whether that's players and friends, or that's, professionals, as well, that come in, because again, you just never know if they're going to talk to the coach or if somebody's going to overhear something. Because again, there's just a lot of pressure, because everybody's livelihoods are around
it's a business
performing. Yeah, exactly. So if you're not performing, you're not in the best headspace, you're not really being the product that they want you to be.
Yeah, they can't put their head around the fact that a professional environment
and that's a thing. And we had a conversation the other day about this, and it really got my wheels turning in my mind. I'm just thinking about post career, but it's interesting that there are not that many ex-professionals that are in these spaces of sports psychologist or counselor. And again, I've had a therapist before that's helped me off the field. But when it comes to like you as a complete person, off the field, on the field, how to deal with the stuff from the field, off the field, it's difficult to really have somebody that you feel really understands you fully, because they haven't been in your shoes before. So that's also just a difficult piece for a lot of guys that are playing professionally or at a really high level, is that there's people that really don't understand what they're going through fully, you know.
How has your family helped you keep you grounded through everything? Like when you're flying,
Yeah.
when you're lower than a snake's belly because you've just got injured or things are going against you. Like, how's your family helped you out?
Like I talk about whether it was with you guys, and how massive you have been, or different friends outside of football. It's they never treat me any different if things are going amazing or if they're not. But it's more down to like them judging me off of the person that I am and how I'm treating people and how I'm going about my life off the field.
Mhm.
And that's always what my mom says she's the most proud of me, is the type of person that I am, the way that I treat people, whether that's the best player on the team, the owner of the team, or whether that's the person sweeping up after, after we get done with our
Yep.
training session, the physios, everybody like that. Like that's what my mother and my father always judge me off of, and they applaud me for. And so like, again, that's been massive for me, because if things aren't really going that well for me off on the field and I'm having a tough time, they still lift me up. And they're like, look at how good of a person you are, and the amount of empathy that you have for other people and the care that you have for other people. Like, you have to lean into that. And that's what they always try to push on me, and try and just be a good person. And yeah, that's always been massive for me.
Is there something, is there a specific voice? Is there a voice of perspective?
It's been my brother, to be honest.
Okay.
Like, that's been the biggest person. I know it's not in football, but he's been the biggest person for me in terms of giving me perspective. Again, because he's he's an aspiring filmmaker. He's in the arts world of things, and just like balancing that. And again, he's seen me grow up. So he knows me better than pretty much anyone, even more than my parents, because there's things that I haven't told my parents that I told him. So he's the person where I can go to about anything, and I'm not going to feel judged, and I'm not going to feel like, oh, this is going to make the relationship weird.
Yeah.
And we've balanced that out, and he does the same thing for me. So it's definitely been my brother. When things have gotten tough, he's really given me good perspective and giving me different books to read that have like been massive for me, changing my perspective on things. And
I suppose that lends itself well, doesn't it, to your point about getting away from football and distancing yourself from football sometimes, because it can be overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's funny that you came off social media. Does that help as well? Because just quieting the noise around everything as well.
I think so, honestly. I think, again, it's a double-edged, it's a double-sided coin, double-edged sword in some ways, because it's nice to be off of it, but you lose some stuff. Like, there's times where guys will get married that we're friendly, but I would like to like send them a message or something, and I have no idea. And it'll be like 2 months down the line, my dad will be like, hey, like, did you see such and such got married? I'm like, no, I didn't see. So you miss out on some of the things, because being on social media, it's a way to keep up with everybody and know what's going on. And obviously, as a professional, being able to have people kind of see different sides of you, and that's an interesting thing, and I think it's amazing. But for me personally, I just felt like it wasn't necessary for me to be on it. It wasn't like serving me and helping me.
Yeah.
And I just decided to get off of it. I got back on it in 2022 for a bit, and things weren't going great, and I was getting some crazy DMs. And when I wasn't playing the greatest, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna get off of it, and I haven't been back on, and I think it's been good for me personally.
Yeah. That's good though. I wish I could get off social media, but I keep having to peddle this madness around. But okay, so there's a couple of little moves in there as well, right? Montreal, you get traded again, you end up going to play for Portland. Best kit by an absolute mile. I said it the other day.
For you.
No. That's not why I said it. It was quality. But play for Phil Neville.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Character, interesting.
Yes, he is a top character. He's a top guy, honestly. Things didn't work out after the season in terms of getting re-signed there, but nothing but like tremendous things to say about him. Really cares for the guys, like great man manager. Again, he's probably going to stay in Portland for a great long time. I mean, he deserves to, because he's a great manager. But yeah, like him and Adrian Heath both had like great personalities, but Phil definitely takes the cake for sure, because again, he had a tremendous career, but he's still able to crack a joke. As soon as I came to them, right away, he's whipping jokes out, and just having a bit of banter. But yeah, he's he allows you to not be just super, super dialed into football all the time. He's able to kind of remove you from it and get you to laugh a bit and yeah, just like understand that we're all different. We're all people. Some people are like, "Oh, he played for Man United," and
he has, he's been there, done it, hasn't he? Everton,
exactly.
He was at Everton for years.
He's still a just a great guy.
Now in Portland, right? If you score, because you scored in your debut,
Yeah,
do they cut a piece of wood off?
they do. Yeah,
Did you get it? Did you get one? Or
I did. I don't know where it is, honestly.
Man, you gotta find
well,
that.
no, the issue is that like. So actually, it's probably still like I don't know what they do with the stuff in the locker room after, but I left it in the locker room because I was like, I'm not gonna take this back to my like 1-bedroom apartment because I was there for 6 months.
Yeah, so it's a big piece.
Yeah, it's a big
chop a log and half.
Exactly, and then to get it back here, that's like I'm not doing that.
So we're gonna put an appeal out and find it. Whoever's got it, get it.
Yeah,
that'll be excellent. All right, and then short stint in KC last season.
Yeah,
and you were just getting yourself fit again. And then that's when I reached out to you again, because then you're currently with Ingolstadt, Germany, and you're back here now just rehabbing for a little bit before you go back. What excites you most about going back to Germany?
Just the passion for football.
Yeah.
From the people in the country. I thought I was probably just going to play my whole career in MLS and I was going to be okay with that. And then things started to kind of take a turn in the off season, and my agents brought this opportunity up and had a conversation with the coach, Sabrina, and things kind of made sense. And I was like, why not? Why not? It seemed like a good time to do it. It's a great club. They played in the Bundesliga before. They were there a few years ago. Great facility.
Nice little stadium, isn't it?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So stadium's great, but on my debut for the club, we went to Rostock away, and just before I even got to the stadium, the feeling is something I've never felt before. Getting there, seeing people with their scarves, it's a different atmosphere than here in the States. You see the same thing, fans walking up, but it's like it seems like they're going there to get entertained. They're there to like support that, like 20-ish, 25,000 people there to support the team. They're all singing the Rostock. Every single person in that stadium was singing their Rostock song in the beginning of the game. All of them waving their scarves. And then in their fan section, like I could feel the rumble of them jumping up and down. All of them is probably like 8,000 or 9,000 people deep, just like in there, just jumping up and down. And I was like, I've never experienced something like that. But sitting on the bench there and just taking it all in, and taking the experience in, and I was like, I'm so happy I did this, because it was something that I probably would never experience in football. Because again, there's just some things in Europe and in Germany especially that you just can't find anywhere else, no matter the division over there.
Yeah, and I know you've only been there, it was 2 months, right? You were there to start with. What's your first impressions? What are your first impressions? Talk about this Mason Toye, the non-footballer. If Mason Toye was going to Germany as a tourist over the 2 months, what's your first impressions of Germany?
It's German, man, especially where I am. Like, I know that's like a dumb, but it's like,
it's like 40, what is it, 40 minutes north or away from Munich?
Yes, 40 minutes away from Munich. But it's just like a very, very stereotypical like German town. It's like one of the headquarters for, if not the headquarters for Audi. So a lot of people are working for Audi there. It's kind of cool actually. You get to see some of the prototype cars. So they're like in this like black and white camouflage. So you see those going around.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting place, very quiet. I didn't know this when I got there, but my girlfriend, she's from Europe. So she was like, yeah, like you shouldn't be surprised. But on Sundays, like everything's shut down, especially in a smaller town like this. None of the restaurants are open. Like if you don't go to the groceries and do your groceries on the Saturday, you're like, I'm out of eggs on Sunday. Yeah, you're just not going to have eggs because nothing's open. It's like there's like one bakery that's open. So it's just like it's a bit of a learning curve when it comes to just like the different customs over there. So
do you find as well, like being around town, do you get noticed or anything like that because you're playing for the team?
Thankfully not. I wasn't really around town that much because like the weather was not the greatest and I was brand new. So I don't know yet. So we'll see about that. But again, football is pretty big over there. So if people find out you play for the local team, it'll be a different reaction probably than over here.
So, and that's what we're going to keep an eye on. But do you think playing abroad is something that every American player should be looking to experience at some point in their career?
Yeah, it's a good question. Like, for me, because like I said, I thought I was going to play my whole career in MLS, or if at the back end of it had to be USL or whatever. But I always would talk to my teammates about this. I was like, "Oh, dude, there's no way I'm going to Europe. Like I'm too old, or it's just, there's no reason to do that. Like, why would I go over there?" But obviously it's changed. And now that I have a different perspective, and
Yeah.
again, I go back to that Rostock experience, but the other games that I've watched of ours on TV, I think just, when you talk about the football aspect of it, being able to be in an environment to where like things really, really matter. Like if we win or if we lose, like it really, there's consequences to both. There's repercussions for if you're losing 5 on the bounce or whatever. Like before I got there, we were, 6 points out of relegation. If you get relegated, you get relegated, to whereas if you're an American playing in the MLS your whole career or USL or whatever, I know USL is trying to bring it in, but there's not big repercussions.
Different type of pressure.
There's millions of dollars on the line that if you get promoted to the second division, you get millions and millions of dollars. And again, even if you get demoted down from the second division, you still have more money. But if you're staying in the third division, or if you're staying in the second division, like teams and the infrastructure and the things that you get, your money, everything, it has a massive implication on your livelihood and on the club's livelihood and the people within the club and how much money they're getting paid and if they can hire new staff. Yeah. So that's a big thing. And then outside of the game is just being able to acclimate yourself to a different country and a different continent and being in an environment where nobody speaks your language. You know what I mean? Like people speak English over there in Germany, so it's beneficial for me, but I'm in the locker room. I'm one of the few guys that English is I'm the only guy that English is my first language. We got a Greek guy and he doesn't speak German, so they have to speak English with him. And we had a couple of Danish guys, but 98% of the time, I'm only hearing German if I'm in the locker room. If we're on the pitch, I'm only hearing Germany. I'm only hearing German. Video, I'm only hearing German. If we're in the stadium, I'm only hearing German. So it's like, again, it just gives you a new perspective that like there's more than just, what's going on here in the US.
How's your German? Danke, bitte.
Yeah, danke, bitte, all this type of stuff. But yeah, it's coming along. But that's the cool thing too, is that, I'm learning a new language. I'm learning French right now. My girlfriend speaks French, but I'm also learning German. They're giving us German lessons, so I'm having those. So learning a new language, but being immersed in the culture and immersed in the language, like it's going to be a lot easier to learn it once I'm back over there. It's going to come a lot quicker than to where if you're over here, you're playing, you're trying to learn Spanish, or you're trying to learn German, and you're not in the environment. It's a lot more difficult. So
next time I see you, you're going to be wearing lederhosen and talking.
You're going to see me in October. They have it. I'll send you pictures, but they have it because we're in Bavaria. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're in that spot. Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be great. So yeah, you said your girlfriend's Belgian, and she obviously gives you a little bit of perspective to Europe as well. But you said your cousin's in England, right? He's playing in England, West Brom at the moment.
Yeah.
So do you lean on each other? Help each other out about because obviously he's in England, so it's a little bit different, but the weather can be miserable. Do you help him out, or does he help you out?
Yeah, we talk on FaceTime, and just we kind of we yap to each other about how crap the weather is, because again, when we both just played in the MLS, so in the wintertime it's preseason, so you don't really have to train in it every day if the weather's crap. The best time of the year is like the middle of the season. And then the end of the season is,
it's going to change though.
Bad. Yeah, I know it's changing now.
Next season, right?
For us.
Yeah, it's great. Preseason, they send you to Florida or Arizona, and then you just...
But we go back and forth about it. But again, we talk about the promotion relegation, West Brom. I pray that it doesn't happen, but if they get hit with the points reduction, like... They're already in a relegation battle to begin with. Yeah. Now it could be very real for them. And he's had to deal with that. And it's a lot more pressure, obviously, him being in the championship and experiencing that. But
especially at a team like West Brom as well. We're in the Prem a couple of years ago.
Historic club and everything. So, but again, we both are happy that we did it. We also just talk about the benefits of it. Before I got injured, we were talking about, okay, this international break, like what country are you going to go to? What are we thinking? Are we going to pull up to Spain or what? Like, so different things like that. But like, that's the cool thing about being over in Europe too, is that, with an hour flight or whatever, or, you could take a train from some places, you can get to a completely different country that speak a completely different language, completely different culture, and some really good places, really good cultures, good food, weather. And obviously in the States, you're just kind of going to another part of the States. It's a bit different. So yeah, we both talk about how cool it is.
No, that's fair, mate. So we'll leave football a little bit. You have a lot to offer football, but we talked the other day about, and this is kind of your kind of reflection and looking at what you want to do after football. You're very aware, like a lot of footballers might not think like this, but you're very aware that football is going to be a part of your life. It's not going to be your whole life. So you're working towards your degree, right?
Yeah.
You're at Syracuse.
Yeah.
Why is that important to you?
I mean, within my family, it's been super important. My grandparents, they had to fight tooth and nail to go to college. You know, my grandmother, they didn't help her pay for her college at all. And like, this is back in like the early 1900s, to where like women really weren't even, they didn't really want her to go to school, because that's kind of where the country was, and the world was, to be honest with you, when it comes to women and education, everything like that. So it's been a massive deal. So when I did leave school early, that was always a conversation. I always told them, you know, I'm going to go back and finish. And it's taking me, I've started and stopped because I really just didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. And then when the opportunity to be able to enroll in Syracuse came around, couldn't really pass it up. But yeah, you know that it's always going to benefit you to get your degree, and to have that piece of paper, because it opens a lot of doors for you after soccer. And it also just shows that, again, that's not the only thing that's on your CV, is that you were like a professional soccer player. You know, you also have proof that you're able to start something and finish it, and that you have a certain level of education. And you can, again, even though it's online, you know, you have the discussions and you have the different things on Zoom and different meetings, that you're able to really have that human connection with people that aren't in your world at all.
Yeah.
And there's a lot to gain from school in any capacity.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? We've mentioned this before. Like, you want to get to the point where it's Mason Toye, this is my job. Oh, and by the way, I used to be a professional footballer. You want to be Mason Toye, the person who can do this, this, and this. And oh, by the way, I did this before. Was there a point though, like, again, when we knew you 10 years ago, 15 years ago, it was football, right? It was be the best you can be, do all this. Was there a point during your career along the way to this point where you've realized that you need to be like this? Was there a moment or that you can think of, or is it just slowly creeping in?
I think probably the last couple of years in Montreal, I just, like, injuries kept creeping up on me, I was getting some form and then I'd get injured again, or I couldn't get started because I was getting injured. And it was just like a realization that, hey, like, this is not going to be forever. Obviously, injuries have not helped me. And again, to continue to have that kind of injury badge. This is the thing. In SKC last year, they were excited because on FIFA, I was no longer at my traits. It wasn't like an injury prone thing in there, because for pretty much my whole career, that was in there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You have the 5-star weak foot, but then I also had injury prone. So they were able to get me out of that because I wasn't injured the whole year. But again, you get kind of stuck with that, and different trades, different opportunities fell through because they seen certain things on scans, or just kind of get scared away with the injury. So with that being said, I just knew that, like, my value within, football personally, but also just within the game, it's not as high as maybe you would like it to be. And you need to, gain more value in you, the person, and not just you, the footballer. You try to work the hardest that you can and do all the right things on and off the pitch, but also you got to think about, okay, how valuable am I when I'm not playing football? And that started to come in my head when I was probably like 24, 25, getting up there. Yeah, so a couple years ago.
So what sort of things are you interested in?
A lot. Again, I'm somebody who's always loved helping people and being of service, and that's always been the thing that I know when I'm done playing. I want to be in a space where it's not about me, but it's all about, like, what can I give to people, to try to help them have a better life and be happy. All the jokes and game playing, and me being the outgoing person I am, a lot of it has to just do because I like seeing people smile. I like people, to see people get better, and I love helping. So I helped volunteer coach at Seton Hall Prep in 2021 when I did my shoulder. And that was just like an amazing experience for me, not just because we won the state championship. And I got revenge on CBA, who beat me in the state championship my senior year. But the biggest part was just like the conversations that I was able to have individually with some of the players one-on-one. And again, to be able to have them know that, I understand you. I know what you've gone through. I know what you're going through. I have to deal with some of the same things, playing at the highest level. And again, just being able to put myself in their shoes, and able to give them a few little nuggets that they can take, or giving them certain tips on the field, and seeing it come to fruition, and just seeing the happiness on their face, when they're able to succeed like that, pays more than anything, any sort of like finances can do.
Do you find they had similar questions that what you would have had at their age?
Yeah, I think so.
Like about everything, just in general, like, whether it's college, whether it's just personality, whether it's whatever it is, soccer, maybe,
Yeah.
soccer as well.
A lot of similar questions for myself. But I think the thing about it is that, because we were closer in age, but again, I think as generations, you differ, you're able to like kind of see when guys are going through certain things, and to try to be a listening ear and things of that nature. But yeah, I mean, they were going through everything that a teenager is going to be going through. You're going through things at home with your parents, with college, and trying to figure out, grades and things of that nature, scholarships, friends, parties, whether to go to that party or not. Like, there's a whole load of things that they have to deal with. And again, we've all been in high school before, and some people don't. They tend to not recognize that. And that was something that was great with you and Kieran as well, is that you guys were really able to recognize that, we were just some 14, 15, 16-year-old kids, and that are going to make mistakes, and that are going to be dumb sometimes, but to not, come down with the hammer all the time. Give us tough love at times, but, put the arm around the shoulder, and have some understanding, and some empathy, because again, it's everybody's first time living, so
Yeah, that's right.
you know what I mean? Like none of us really have it figured out yet. So we're just trying to do our best. And the more that people can kind of recognize that, the better I think they'll be at helping people around them.
Starting to sound like a sports psychologist there, mate.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. Yeah.
Mentor, something.
Yeah. We'll see.
We'll see. All right. Couple more for you, mate. What does success mean to you now versus when you first went pro?
It's way different. I heard a Steve Kerr quote. I'm not going to quote it exactly, right? But basically it was along the line, it was a difference between him and Michael Jordan, and Michael has been insanely successful, but along the way, you don't really hear about the type of person that he was to the people around him. It was all about winning. And again, he definitely lifted people up in terms of pushing them to be better, because he needed them to be better so that they could win. But for Steve Kerr, him being successful is the way that the impact that he's had on the people around him. And it's not necessarily about like the wins and losses, but the impact around the type of person that he was to other people. And that's kind of the way that I've gone to looking at my success is, okay, like when I leave these different places in the clubs, what type of impact do I feel like I had on the locker room, on the staff, on all the people in the club? Like, what are they going to say when I leave? Like, what type of person was I? And that's like what I've been the most proud of, because that's like something you have control over. And that's, again, it's difficult when you're younger, because being a professional footballer, a lot of the things like are about like luck, right place, right time, going to the challenge or not going to the challenge. Like a lot of things that really aren't in your control. Being a striker, I can be in the right place 10 times. If the ball doesn't come to me and then the whistle blows, I was in the right place. They just didn't give me the ball. That's not really in my control. Or if I get injured, it's not completely in my control. Some freak stuff happens. But the way that I treat people, the attitude that I have on a daily basis in training, how hard I work, and again, just the type of person that I am around to the people, like that, if I can be the best that I can be in that regard, then I feel like I've been successful. And like that's been the biggest change, since I've come into the league and until now.
Well, that's a good answer, that, mate. Did well there. All right, last one. If a young person's listening, young striker, let's just say young Mason's listening, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wherever he is. What's the one lesson that you want them to take from your journey?
I would say focus on the small things in every aspect of you being, whether it's a pro, whether it's you're in high school, whether it's you're in college at the moment, like focus on all the small, minute things, the mundane things of being a striker. So that's stuff on the field, little movements, double movements, checking your shoulder, making the run when you know you should be making the run, getting to the near post, making runs into the corner when you need to like make space for the other guy to make a run off of you. Like the smallest little stuff that has nothing to do, like you think has nothing to do with scoring goals, you think has nothing to do with being a good striker, because a lot of people think that it's just goals. But Edison Cavani is the best example I can give to you, because he's somebody who runs his bullocks off, making the runs into the channel. He's pressing, he's working hard. Bobby Firmino's another one who's always back pressing. I remember being in college, and I wrote in a journal actually before the game. I was like, think about being Bobby Firmino, like press the six, like back press the six. So like little things like that. How are you affecting the game when you're not scoring goals, when you're not in the box? And then the goals will end up coming when you do all of the small things. 99% of us are not that talented to just like walk around the pitch and just be able to put a top bins. Like you have to put in the work and do the extra stuff.
Can't all be Thierry Henry, can we?
No, we cannot.
All right, last one. If you had to describe this conversation in one sentence.
One sentence. Honestly, this conversation was a sort of catharsis for me. So that's what I would say. It's been dope, man. Like I appreciate you, and I know I'm rambling, but I gotta get it off because again, you've been tremendous in like always reaching out, always being there for me. Sometimes I get back to you super quick. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time, but I always do get back to you. But again, the conversations that we had over the past couple of days have been massive for me and thinking about my next steps of life. But yeah, like I'm just super proud of you for doing this podcast thing, man. I have no doubts it's going to get off the ground and really make it something, because you have a proper perspective. You met so many different people with so many different stories. And yeah, I'm excited to tune in and to hear what else is cooking.
Got to get Kieran to do it, mate.
Yeah, I know. Seriously, I don't know.
He's so scared.
Yeah, you're going to have to back it up off the beard, I think. So it doesn't.
He's got, yeah, exactly. He's going to have to sit about 5 miles away from the microphone.
Yeah.
Mate, thanks very much, mate. That was absolutely quality. I really appreciate it. But before you go, I always do quick fire questions.
Okay, let's do it.
So you've got to think quick. All right. Funniest teammate you've ever had?
Raheem Edwards. He plays for Toronto. This guy's crazy, man. Crazy.
All right. Best player you've played with to this point, youth or professional?
Wow.
You're going to get yourself in trouble with this one, aren't you?
Evander from Portland. Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Brazilian guy
is unbelievable.
This could be, I could have killed myself here. What would your walkout music be?
And this is, wow. You're really putting me on the spot here. Walkout music is a tough one, man. I would probably say like, it's a Chief Keef song. It's called Finito.
I've never heard it.
I know you've never heard of it. That's why I was like trying to like, should I
say whatever you want? Doesn't matter. There's no way I would have ever heard it.
I'd probably say that one. If I was a boxer walkout song, I need something to get me going. So
all right, I'm gonna play it on the way home in the car.
I don't think I'm
gonna be in the car going, what the
it's gonna be a 5-seconder.
All right, toughest player you've ever played against?
First one that comes to mind, and I claim to know that he was going to be a top player. Under 23s, he played Brazil in Spain. Martinelli was the one that was getting all the praise. He was at Arsenal at the time, but it was Matheus Cunha. I was like, this guy's unbelievable.
Oh,
and
yeah?
He was playing in Germany at the time, yeah. And now he's obviously doing his thing for Man United, but Matheus Cunha for sure is like the player I was like, wow, this guy's unbelievable. So he's probably the best.
Most impactful coach or manager you've had to this point?
Ian Fuller. I would say Ian Fuller for sure. I would say just because of the amount of hours he put in with me on the field and off the field after training sessions to just try to get me going and figure the striker thing out. And he's massive reason. Him and Adrian Heath both, but Ian really put in the hours watching film with me, different things like that to get me to where I am today.
Cool. Couple more. Best stadium you've played in?
Best stadium. LAFC is definitely up there when it's rocking.
And you kept it quiet when you...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. When it's rocking and then it's not. So I guess I would probably... Yeah. I'm going to stick with that. I would have said Azteca, but I didn't get to go on that trip. I was injured at the time, but...
Killer.
Yeah.
All right. Which basketball player would you have compared yourself to?
That's a great question. You
got to answer it.
So the first person that comes to mind is Gilbert Arenas, but I'm not going to say that because I wasn't like that great of a player on the ball. Bradley Beal, he played for the Washington Wizards for a long time. Played for the Suns, but just like fundamentally very good. Can shoot the ball mid range, get your points, but like you're not going to be like wow. But then you look at the box score and you'd be like, okay, he's a good player.
All right, and then last question. This might get you in more trouble. Who's better at golf, you or Vince?
He's got me, man.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's got me.
That's the correct answer.
Yeah. He's got me. Yeah.
Oh, good. Mate, thank you, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much, mate. Right. I really appreciate it. Yeah. Cheers.
No worries.
Thanks for listening to today's episode. If you or someone you know has a story to share, we'd love to hear from you. Reach out to us via our socials or visit www.crossingthepondpodcast.com to get in touch. Please be sure to subscribe, like, or leave a comment if you can. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.
Cross Pond Podcasting.